I watched my parents closely during my older sister's memorial, and they didn't shed a single tear. I was 15 when my 19-year-old sister Sophia tragically perished in an off-campus apartment fire in downtown Seattle. She supposedly fell asleep with a faulty space heater running, and within minutes, the flames consumed the second floor. The unsettling part was that my parents had specifically insisted she stay in that cheap building instead of safe dorms. Thus, at Sophia's wake, when my parents stood completely stone-faced, casually sipping Pinot Noir instead of breaking down, I sensed a deep wrongness. I convinced myself they were just heavily medicated. That illusion shattered by Tuesday. 3 days after the service, the driveway looked different. Sophia's prized vintage Subaru was missing. I stared at my mom, who was scrubbing the granite countertops while humming a cheerful pop song. I asked Mom, "Where is Sophia's car?" She didn't pause and just scoffed. "Sold it to a dealership down on 4th Avenue. I refused to look at it anymore. That evening, the silence in the house was suffocating. I lay on my rug staring at the ceiling, waiting for the inevitable sounds of parental grief to echo. Instead, I heard my mom and dad laughing. Deep, genuine laughter from the home office, like they were watching a comedy special. Like their eldest daughter hadn't just been turned to ash 96 hours ago. I desperately tried to rationalize it. Maybe it was a hysterical coping mechanism. Maybe the shock was making them manic. The following afternoon, I stumbled downstairs after crying myself into a severe migraine. Mom was lounging on the patio, holding a glossy travel brochure for a luxury resort in St. Bart's. That's when Dad strolled out from his study holding a stack of financial documents. He loudly declared, "Well, the payout clears by Friday. I'm just relieved Sophia's situation is finally resolved. It's a clean slate for us." My head snapped toward the glass door. What? His posture stiffened, color draining from his face as he realized I was in the kitchen. He stammered, frantically pivoting. I just meant I'm relieved the insurance paperwork for the apartment is handled." Before I could interrogate him, he grabbed my mom's elbow and they retreated into the master bedroom, locking the door. I stood frozen on the hardwood floor, my pulse hammered. I knew a horrific truth was hiding just beneath the surface. Late that night, I booted up the family iMac. I told myself I just wanted to read Sophia's old emails to feel her presence. But truthfully, I was hunting for puzzle pieces I didn't want to solve. I logged into her secondary Google Drive. That's when I noticed a restricted folder titled Trust Discrepancies. I clicked it, and what I uncovered completely dismantled my reality. I felt bile rise. Sophia had uploaded bank statements and a drafted police report. She had written, "Mom and Dad forged my signature to drain the $850,000 inheritance Grandma left me. They used it to pay illegal gambling debts. Worse, they recently took out a $2 million life insurance policy on me." I confronted Dad tonight, and he told me if I went to the authorities, I wouldn't live to see graduation. That was the final document, dated the exact night before the fatal fire. I stared at the glowing monitor. A terrifying numbness washed over me because suddenly, the nightmare made perfect sense. The immediate sale of her car, the travel brochures, the sickening laughter. Sophia was about to expose their massive financial crimes, and my parents had orchestrated her horrific death to silence her. I don't recall walking down the long, dark hallway. I don't recall the expression on my own face. I just remember standing at the foot of their bed with my phone displaying Sophia's files, my knuckles white. "Why did you burn her alive?" Mom's jaw dropped in absolute shock. Dad sat up slowly, his eyes narrowing maliciously at the brightly lit screen. "Where did you get that access code?" I screamed. "How could you murder Sophia?" Dad's tone turned dangerously flat. "You are too young to grasp the real world. She was going to send us to federal prison and leave you destitute." I gasped, stepping back. Mom pulled the duvet up, her voice eerily soothing. "We gave her multiple chances to keep quiet. She was being selfish." I sobbed uncontrollably. "She was your own flesh and blood. She was my sister." Mom sighed softly, adjusting her silk pillows. "We made a necessary sacrifice to secure our future. When you're older, you'll thank us."